All right, people are still trickling in, but let's get started here. First off, my name is Ben. I'm on the marketing team here at Vroozi, and I'm joined today by Mike and Jason. We're here to talk today about the Vroozi marketplace and the SAP procurement and how it's supercharged and what it can mean for you. We want to make sure we have time for some questions at the end. So we'll run about 30 minutes here. We don't want to take up too much of your time, but we want to make sure we get to everything that you've been asking about, and we want to make sure that we have all the information here that you need to move on with this. So first off, I'd like to just introduce both Mike and Jason and have them introduce themselves, and we'll get started from there. So Mike and Jason, take it away.
Yep. Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Didday, and I lead up partnerships for Vroozi. Prior to that, I spent 25 years at SAP in the procurement and supply chain space. And over those years, I've seen P2P evolve quite a bit, from the old school ERP transactions to the new school, internet-based UI, mobile first, and now AI-driven procure-to-pay. So I'm super excited to join Vroozi. Vroozi brings a state-of-the-art platform, all about intuitive usability, full data integration to your ERP, and on top of that, a bunch of AI innovations. So, Mike, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Jason. Great to be with everybody today. My name is Mike Judd, Senior Director of Customer Experience. What we do is we make customers successful, have them grow with the product and the solution and become more digital. That way they're faster and can control more of the spend and get things done a lot quicker. So able to do that, spent a lot of time in the industry, and Jason and I, in fact, overlapped at SAP together. I was there 15 years developing their procure-to-pay solutions, and ultimately just try to get people to adopt the systems back then, but really ran into Vroozi for the reasons Jason mentioned. A very intuitive interface that we're going to show you a little bit about, that makes a lot easy for people to do things that they need to do. So looking forward to showing that and talking about that in as we go through the slides. But Jason, I'll hand it back to you.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's take a little short trip back in time. Look, first of all, I got to say, the procure-to-pay process hasn't changed in 50 years or since the dawn of time, really, right? But the applications we use to service that process have. And so we began back, Mike and I began together back at SAP, back in the client server era. And SAP GUI was front and center. And end users had to navigate multiple fields and drop downs and multiple screens and click tab after tab and fill out that purchase requisition. It was time consuming, it was difficult, it required a lot of training. Look, around the 1990s and 2000s, the internet came about and new applications came around. At that time, Ariba, Commerce One, which eventually became SAP SRM, came about, and the idea of self-service procurement was floated, and that's the idea to get your requisitions to be created by the end user, the person that needs the item. And so self-service procurement hinges on usability, right? To be able to push an application out to your very end user, it needs to be easy to use. So around that time, applications were using catalogs, and at that same time, Amazon was big, and everybody learned how to shop from Amazon. And so punching out to a catalog was a big piece of the functionality of these early procure-to-pay applications. And at that time, a company named Smart OCI was formed, and that's in the early 2000s. Smart OCI was an early content catalog aggregator where you would load up all your content into one catalog and then be able to search across all the parts. Cross-catalog search is one of the most powerful features of a catalog marketplace, and Smart OCI pioneered that capability. Believe it or not, we still face those same challenges, and a clean content marketplace is still the best solution. Now, look, after the internet, the next paradigm shift came around 2012 when mobile came about, and that's when Vroozi was formed. Vroozi formed off of Smart OCI, evolved from Smart OCI, and Vroozi was formed in 2012 with a mobile first mentality, with a usability first mentality to make it easy for end users to drive procurement. Right. So Vroozi delivers a state-of-the-art procure-to-pay platform designed with usability and mobility in mind. Whether you're on a PC or mobile device, your end user can manage spend and invoices through an intuitive, autonomous experience. The platform integrates to all ERP backends, especially SAP. And in fact, Vroozi's first integration and primary integration has been SAP since the beginning. And guys like Mike and myself were there in the early days of SAP integration, and we're here with Vroozi for their integration. Okay, provides a true end-to-end procure-to-pay solution. So from purchase requisition to approval, to purchase order, to change order, to order acknowledgement, to ship notice, to invoice. All of those transactions are created in Vroozi and could be replicated back to your ERP backend. And then on top of that, Vroozi is AI and machine learning ready. I mean, we have 2 great AI agents already available, one for smart requisitioning and one for AP processing, and a bunch more on the horizon. So when you think Vroozi, think AI innovation. Okay. So a little bit about Vroozi. As I mentioned earlier, founded in 2012. We're headquartered in Los Angeles, California. And we have partnerships with all the major ERP vendors, SAP, Oracle, Deltek, IBM, and so on. And we have major Fortune 500 companies running Vroozi since the days of Smart OCI, leveraging the catalog and this great catalog marketplace, as well as companies running full procure-to-pay in Vroozi's platform. We drive typical procurement KPIs like contract compliance, spend under management, purchase price variance, right? Success with self-service procurement starts with usability. And if we create an easy to use catalog, your end users use it. They go out there, they pick the items they need. That guarantees contract compliance. It guarantees spend under management. It reduces purchase price variance. You're pulling down the parts and prices and from the correct vendor. Okay. So let me hand it over to Mike. He'll take it through SpendTech in detail.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. Yeah, so lots of opportunity here. So what I really want to start with is kind of an ERP mindset that we see quite a bit when customers first come to us. That mindset is that there's somebody that can operate the ERP, right? They've been trained and they know some of the transaction codes that you're probably all familiar with. And so the mentality or mindset is this, that those folks that can operate the ERP will go out and get the answer. All right, what should I do here with this invoice? Change, should pay the invoice price or the PO price? How do I set up this request, right? I have an email now, and I'll get the email, create the request for you, and do it in the system. And then we'll probably have a lot of questions going back and forth. But ultimately, what I end up doing is I pull that email, print it out probably, or load it up into the request as kind of my backup that I got the right answer, and I'm recording it into ERP for you. So ultimately, what we want to drive for you is really let's get that participation from that user. Have them engage the process. If they know the answer, they can easily make that decision or put that input into the system and get the activity recorded that way. So no CYA processes of printing out emails and putting it with the documents in the system. It's actually a recorded activity that the user themselves have made. So we want to make people and systems participate for you in your processes, and that's really what digital is all about. I also like the definition. It's called live data, or it's the definition of digital. It's live data, meaning as things change, right? The data is alive, and it tells you here's the new status, right? So we want people to work with the live data, so you know the statuses and things like that. So ultimately, what we want to do is make things digital for you, and it often starts with a digital marketplace. Top left there, we're going to talk about that quite a bit. Great starting point to get the data. Okay, so as soon as you buy something, we start bringing in data, accuracy, and then we get that moving forward. So you get the things that Jason was talking about, the compliance and making sure you get the savings that you've realized through contracts. But now it's actually becoming live for you as people are using that catalog content. We'll do that across all your entire organization. Jason mentioned all the countries we're in, so we'll have that global aspect to it. But it's one single marketplace for your entire company. Okay, doesn't mean Mike Judd in Boston is seeing things from across the world. Right, we can organize it in such a way where I see the things that are relevant to my world, my location. Okay, but it's one marketplace that's updated by your suppliers, by catalog folks, category managers, and things like that that participate. That's what's going to get organized for you. So we'll do that across your organizations and your systems. And then we'll show you how you take advantage of some of the new AI capabilities. So driving automation and getting the insights, speaking of analytics there, driving some of those insights for you. So that's what digital really looks like. It's having those people participate. You get the accuracy and speed of digital. So now you have more people participating. You want the visibility and control. You're going to have that, and then the analytics go with that, so you keep improving as you keep going. So definitely want to show that to you in just a second. But I'll hand it back over to Jason for a little bit more.
Yeah. Right. So Vroozi's one procure-to-pay platform. Now, as I mentioned, we offer a marketplace, a great catalog for you to search and find your items. And then we also offer full purchasing, procure-to-pay, and invoicing. So you can see the types of catalogs that we offer, Amazon Business, Uline, Granger, Fastenal, and so on, right? We can bring in any catalog content you need and via punch-out or content federation, right? And then you can see that we offer real-time analytics, AI, and so on, all integrated to SAP ECC or S/4HANA. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay, so let's talk about the nitty-gritty. How do we integrate to SAP? So I think we've alluded to earlier, there are really two ways to do that. I'm just going to tee this up first of all and hand it over to Mike. But the first option is the Vroozi catalog. So the Vroozi marketplace or Vroozi catalog integrated within SAP. You can punch right out to the Vroozi catalog from ME51N. You can punch out from the work order and all the other areas where you, like from a purchase order transaction, you can punch out. You can also sit the catalog on top of Ariba. But you would punch out, you find your items, you bring them right back into the shopping cart or the purchase requisition. Now, one option I want to make about, or one comment, sorry, I want to make about this option is that we are aware that a lot of our alternative solutions out there are charging quite a bit more, have raised their prices quite a bit more than Vroozi. And so I got to ask you, why would you pay 4 or 5 times more for the same solution? Okay, the other option, option 2, that's using Vroozi as a full procure-to-pay option. This option leverages Vroozi from requisition through to invoice with integration of your master data and integration of all the purchasing documents as you need to your ERP backend. So Mike, I'm going to hand it over to you from that.
All right, I'll take it. So let's go through option 1 and 2 again. So option 1, what you're seeing here is your starting point is the ERP system. And Jason mentioned the famous ME51N, talking T code there. But so you start on the SAP or ERP side. And then ultimately what you're going to do is get your stuff. And I say that literally because people just say, I just want my stuff, right? So once you get your stuff on the right-hand side, you build a purchase request. But let's take a look at the middle, what you have there. That's the marketplace that we were talking about and Jason mentioned. That's where you're going to have your preferred, approved, and contracted suppliers. Okay, so when people are looking for the parts and the stuff that they need, right, they'll be able to find that in the catalog through the search. It's very familiar territory to many. People know internet search and online shopping these days, so it's very familiar to them. So when they buy and search for their stuff, what they're searching on are your deals, your contracts. So when they pull a contracted item, they're generating then the savings that you've already agreed to with that supplier. So that's what's being pulled in on the right-hand side. It's data that gives me all the information that I need, and that's where a lot of the accuracy is coming from. Things are categorized for me, the price is correct, and we actually know the part. So when emails go back and forth, like somebody says, I need this, well, purchasing says, well, what is this, right? And then you have that back and forth. Well, here you get exactly what you're looking for, and that's what we're building the purchase requests on. In option 2, your starting point is going to be Vroozi. So Jason mentioned a couple times mobile first. It was really that guiding principle that we said we just got to make this super easy for a person. Most people pick up their cell phones today, and after they buy them, and no one looks at an instruction manual. They go right to it, right? So that's the mentality there. So what you're seeing on the left-hand side is that same marketplace. The different interface there on the right-hand side means that we can do more things. We can do AI, intelligent searches and things like that for you. But same idea though, that on the marketplace in step 2 there, we're taking your supplier relationships, capturing that in catalog content, and then even tracking it. So we know to the contract number that, where you're doing releases and things like that. So in part 3, where you're building the purchase request here, not only do you have the accuracy of the product, there's no doubt that I've got the right product, but now we're also coding this for the accounting objects. Okay, most people don't know their cost center or GL codes and things like that. They just want their stuff, as I use that line again. So what we're going to do on the right-hand side is code that for that user, so they don't have to worry about the accounting, but certainly you get the accuracy behind it. Okay, so a couple elements on that interface there. One is the use of AI now for intelligent search. Okay, so what you're getting from the marketplace now is when they do search, it's not just looking for keywords and things, but it could build context. That data could actually apply to a specific context for your company. Okay, intelligent search means we'll find the right part or service depending on the context now. So we'll use some of the AI tools for not only the search and finding the right thing, but also now on the coding, on the classification. In this particular case, maybe it's a application for heating versus plumbing. Okay, some of the AI can help you determine not only the again, the right part for that particular application, but also maybe it's a different cost coding depending on the usage. Okay, so in one case, you're taking advantage of the search and intelligent search within that marketplace. And then let's say you have to build something like this, like a quote. On the left-hand side is something that we received as a PDF on an email. Okay, it's a quote. And what the AI is able to do for us is actually it reads the document and it's looking for keywords on the page. So if you present the document, it could be an SOW, it could be a quote, it could be a contract. What the AI does for us, it actually reads the words on the page and looks for keywords for in this case, for a quote. Okay, looks for price, address, things like things I need to pull off to build the purchase request on the right-hand side. So we actually took that document, loaded it up, and then created an electronic quote now to move forward. What we've heard to date when you don't have a process like this is somebody will just put one line item and say, the quote for 10 items, we'll just simply say, all right, that equals $10,000. We'll just create one line item for $10,000, and then we'll just make sure we stay under 10,000. But you lose all the detail of what you spent money on. And that's what we're all about. We want to make sure that you have the visibility into all your spend. So we're going to get as many line items as it takes to pull that off a quote and build that for you. So using AI again, in this case, to keep people from typing a lot of information in, okay? And that's one of the value propositions here. I'll just highlight a couple of things here. Jason mentioned the intuitive user experience. And that's really what we deliver on top of ERP and an SAP system. It's having that, again, that familiar territory that most people are used to. Online shopping and internet search is kind of like the main models there, but it's giving that person the ability to just step right in, do what they need to do, and then participate, like I said in the beginning, in the process. Okay, it's not somebody recording in SAP what somebody's decision is outside the system. It's now having that activity done by that user, and then we'll automatically record that into the ERP for you. So it's all about that intuitive user experience. The artificial intelligence now taking on some of the tasks. Instead, like deciphering what people or translating what people mean. We heard a joke recently about people spelling copper pipe. Oh, you meant copper pipe. So things like that, right? And then some of the no code that we introduce, no code activities where if you're looking to do integration, if you're looking to configure your system, customize the system, we do that through a series of toggles and identification and configuration. It's not coding. It's actually going into the admin panel and creating that customization for your company. So it's things like that that really differentiate Vroozi on your SAP system. It's something that your ERP just does not deliver on its own, and we definitely support those activities, the integration, the people involvement, and really the pace of innovation, getting that AI and more AI out to the market for you. Okay. I want to share, as we wind down here, I have one example from an SAP customer. Slides from them showing the house not quite in order on the right-hand side. They kind of had a mess going. They admit they had some crazy activities going on. And on the left-hand side, you see a lot of that. But really what a lot of it was blanket orders. They were doing a lot with blanket items. So that's kind of that idea where let's put a blanket item for, let's say, $10,000, right? We can manage to the 10,000, making sure we're below expectations, but you lose the spend visibility when you don't have the item detail. So we'd much rather give you the 10 items that equal the 10,000, so you know what you're spending on. But more importantly, ultimately, you're going to have the data there that's going to drive the better behavior, right? We got to see where we're not using our contracts because we want to drive that compliance, we want to drive that savings. We found a company that was spending the same same price on trash bags as you and I off the street going to Walmart. So obviously that's becomes an activity now. Let's get the discounts because they buy a lot more trash bags than I do. And Jason mentioned purchase price variance. You uncover some activity where somebody's pulling a different price than what they should, but then what you do is get them to the marketplace, get that spend to the marketplace, and make sure that we're driving to the price that we want, the contract price. So that's what we're able to do with that transformation. We cleaned house, gave them the visibility, gave them the items that they were looking for, made the approvals go a lot faster, the workflows go a lot faster, and that's really what made that house look cleaner. But to the last point there, developing now long-term strategies. Okay, it's not the tactical. Let's take care of the day-to-day fires and figure out how to manage to a blanket order. It really became now, let's look at some purchase price variance, let's look at supplier relationships, let's look at supplier performance, and then find some ways that we could do better. And that's really what this is all about. Finding ways to reduce your cycle times up to 60% in many cases, lowering your document processing costs, cost per invoice, cost per order, and then really driving the savings, getting more through what I call getting it through the machine. Or if that's your savings and compliance and preferred approved suppliers, let's get more spend into that machine where we're driving more and more savings for you. So that's really what ultimately you're going to derive. And a lot of our customers have done that through Vroozi. And like I said, I'm customer success. So we continue to do that for them, getting more spend under management, connecting more systems. And that's really what we're doing for all these folks here. So definitely appreciate you guys tuning in today. It was our pleasure to talk about how Vroozi can support your digital initiatives on SAP. As Jason and I both described, we came from SAP, so it is near and dear to us. So we like to help you improve your digital world too.
Great.
Great, guys. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. We did have a couple questions here, and I want to make sure that we get to them. We only have a few minutes left, but the first one here is, what's a typical implementation of SAP in Vroozi? So what does it typically look like?
I'll jump in. I'll start there.
Yeah.
So I always start with about 8 to 12 week time frame. Okay. What drives a longer cycle would be connecting more and more systems, right? Or you might have some custom connections or data that you want to pass. So, obviously that adds a little bit of time for the customization, but 8 to 12 weeks is a great starting point. And a lot of that activity is really just getting your suppliers engaged into the marketplace. So they, obviously we need their support to onboard them. So they need to participate and help us out and make scheduled meetings. So a lot of that time is really just getting the suppliers connected for you. But in about 8 to 12 weeks, we can get something going where you're already driving a lot of savings, getting the data, and able to glean some insights from even that activity.
Great. And I think this is a follow-up. So the question is, how should I get started? Who should I contact? That kind of thing. I think we kind of have that up here, but maybe you can go through it a little bit more.
Let me just say, reach out to either one of us, of course. And if you are copying down my email address, put 2 D's in the middle there. I got to fix that. The spelling's correct at the top there. But anyway, yeah, reach out to myself or Mike. We'd be happy to talk to you. We, also go out to the Vroozi website, and there's a great product tour out there. You can see the product in 10 minutes. So.
Yeah, I'd love to show it to you. It's funny about the D's because normally Judd is 2 D's, but
yeah, I know you got 1 D, I get 2.
Jeez. Okay, and I just got one more here, and maybe this is more for Mike, I don't know, or Jason. What if you're upgrading to S/4HANA? And I think that was you mentioned that a little bit in this presentation, so maybe just go through it one more time. What if you are upgrading to S/4HANA is the question.
Yeah, no, that's top of mind for many. In fact, we have a few customers going through that process now where they're making the upgrades from former older versions to S/4HANA. And in fact, the screenshot we showed in one case wasn't S/4HANA screen. But yeah, even if you're in mid upgrade at the moment, what you're looking at in terms of Vroozi, or what users are looking at, is a common interface. So if they're using Vroozi, right, let's say on an older system, well, as you change and upgrade to S/4HANA, they're going to look at the same Vroozi. So for them, there's really no change management at all, whether you switch things underneath the hood there. So it actually, from a change management and upgrade perspective, we make that a lot easier and seamless for your end users, because again, when they log in, they're looking at an intuitive interface that they didn't need to get trained. Just like you pick it up the phone, right? I just start using it, and that's what really Vroozi is meant to be, is that no training solution where you just you're using it, and then what you do underneath with your ECCs to S/4HANA upgrades is transparent to any end user for you. So it does lend itself to a cleaner upgrade for you.
Great. I think that's it for questions. So I'll just say thanks a lot, Mike and Jason, for going through this. This was very helpful, lots of information, and really appreciate you taking the time here today. And if anyone on this webinar have any questions, reach out to them. Again, Jason Didday has 2 Ds, so just make sure you see that in the email. But also just make sure that if you want that demo on the Vroozi site, and if you have more questions about the upgrade or the integration, just reach on out. So Mike and Jason, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the time, everybody, and would love to show it to you at some point. So hopefully we hear from you soon. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. See you guys.
Bye now.
Perfect. Thanks so much.